Hi, sweethearts, it's Rowan. So, let's try to keep this as short as possible. So, you may have noticed I have not posted a Spend Convergence with me type video, and that is because this year's Convergence was kind of a clusterfuck. One person said it was like the worst managed that they'd ever been to, but honestly, I think that I'd only been to 2, and I was involved with some off-schedule events during C9, so 9th Convergence, which was in Las Vegas. But I've only been to number 20, which was one of the 10th anniversary ones in Chicago. So the first one was in Chicago, number 10 was in Chicago, number 20 is in Chicago, so number 30 is almost definitely going to be in Chicago, unless, you know, all of the Chicago people who've been involved forever suddenly die in the next 6 years. But I don't see that happening. Most of them are fairly healthy. But, what was I saying? So I've only been to, only properly been to, C20 Chicago and C24 Detroit. And honestly, everything that went wrong in Detroit can be boiled down to the fact that the hotel that we had hosting us is notoriously mismanaged. And why, what is this, pot kids or jaywalkers? Nobody knows what's going on in my neighborhood today. Oh, that's a fire engine. Alright, students are, setting off, who knows. Somebody burnt the Rice Krispie squares. Did they? Let's say they did. So, everything that could have went wrong at the hotel seemed to, but, so let's see, we get there, so my friend Kim picks up my young man and myself at around 10:30, quarter to 11, on Friday. And then, so we get there in the area of noon. It's about a 20-minute drive, but, we had to load up the car and all of that. So, in fact, I had to, I guess I sort of, overestimated how much space she was going to have. So I had to leave a couple things behind, but that's okay, because it wasn't as important as everything that I did bring, right? Right. So, what was I saying? Oh, right. So, we got there at noon, and, literally, we got there, a little bit before noon. Took us a little under an hour for the friend we were going to be rooming with to wake up, because he got off a red-eye flight from Portland, and was kind of tired, so he, immediately fell asleep, and I'm like, but I need you to let me in, because I'm not on the room, you know, my name's not on the room, and I need a room key. So, just as we got everything up to the room, there's an announcement from one of the committee members saying, oh, hey, the hotel is screwing us over, and we're only going to be able to vend on Saturday. And the hotel we were at is called the Edward Hotel and Convention Center. It used to be a Hyatt Regency until about 10 or 11 years ago. And it has changed ownership several times in the last decade, since, you know, the Hyatt Regencies all, you know, I guess the parent company just kind of, folded, and all of the surviving hotels had gone off to be sold to individual owners. And the current managers of the former Hyatt, now Edward, barely give a shit, and it all goes down to managerial problems. All of the front house staff, the valets, the security, the bellhops, the women at the check-in desk, all of the restaurants, all of the staff at the restaurant and bar and coffee shop, they're all very lovely people. They're all very lovely, very incredible people. who, do whatever it is within their power, which, being front house staff isn't really all that much, to make sure that you're having the best possible stay. The kitchen was understaffed. Housekeeping was understaffed, and this was made evident in some people's rooms. Not ours, thankfully. I mean, we could say, but then again, we did put the do not disturb sign off the door. I don't know what was going on there. So, pretty much, I was supposed to be vending all 3 days. So, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I was supposed to be vending. I only vended Saturday, so I basically took home maybe a third of what I would have if I'd been vending all 3 days. I still walked away with, in the area of $300, which isn't bad at all. Let's see, $140 went directly to my bank with the little square reader for my phone, which is one reason that I wasn't really filming, that I really didn't decide to film in the vendor room, because I did have, I sold out almost all of my jewelry that I make, which, it's nice to see it all go to good homes. At the same time, some of it I made about 2 years ago, so it's been with me for 2 years unsold, and so it's like, it's like having a kid, and and you're happy to see them go off to college and go on and live their life, but at the same time, it's like, you were with me for so long, and you're leaving me. What was I saying? Oh yeah, and let's see, I had Isaac forward me $35 from doing his taxes, since he offered me 10% to do his taxes. So so I had him forward me 35 from the 135 he's due back. So just so in cash, just so I could make change for people, because that's how broke I left with my own money. And I came home with cash in the area of about 180, and then about 70 some went away because I bought some CDs on Saturday, and I ended up buying some food at the restaurant as Isaac and I were waiting for a friend to come by and take us back to Ypsilanti. There was a slight miscommunication between my friend who brought us there and my friend who, and whether or not we were going to get back. See, I assumed I was asking, I kind of took for granted the fact that, you usually ask for a ride there and back, but then I forgot that, I knew she was on the committee, but I forgot that being on the committee means you have to do a whole lot of shit at the end. So, there was a miscommunication. I can't remember if, which one of us was being especially unclear, but whatever. We got home safely. So, they had to, do a whole lot of taking shit home in their own car. And so, but, we got a ride back with another friend, which was great. The cat sitter did call on Friday because I guess they didn't understand completely my note that I left about, the whole process of mixing wet cat food for the cats, because Nigel is very particular about his wet food. He eats kibble just fine. So I know it's not a dental problem, because somebody was suggesting, well, maybe it's a dental problem. I'm like, he eats kibble just fine. He's just, this is how particular he is. He's also very picky about fish. He's okay. He's gotten more okay with tuna and salmon just because, that's what's been on sale sometimes, but he wasn't the biggest fan of it before this year. So Friday, we went, and unfortunately we did miss, Acid Casualty and Curse of Cassandra, who were the first bands playing on Friday at Smalls. And the reason we missed them is because basically nobody knew what the hell was going on with the shuttles. Oh, that's another thing, is we hired a bus, but the bus that they had reserved for us suddenly broke down, so we had to rely on the hotel's shuttle, which was generally okay. It was generally okay. Deshaun, the night driver, he said, you know, I'm learning a lot this weekend. Part of which was thanks to me when, oh God, I wasn't even drinking Friday night. Because I had no money to drink. So, you know, I mentioned something about, like, Wednesday night I was getting glory hole invitations, and Isaac's like, yeah, and over Twitter, too. And, you know, Deshaun, our driver, he's like, wait, what's a glory hole? And Eric, one of the committee, you know, chairs, he's like, I don't think you'd want to know. And I said, and, you know, me just being blunt as fuck, I say, it's a hole where you stick your penis through and hopefully somebody on the other end is sucking it. And he's like, okay. And Eric's saying, oh, great. Now we're never gonna, you know, he's never gonna give us a ride again. And Deshaun's like, no, I'm learning a lot this weekend. And it was great, because I just explained the glory hole to people, and, you know, I can't even remember what the hell the topic of conversation came back up to. You know, halfway through the ride back to the hotel, but, you know, one of us was saying something, and Deshaun says, I'm still on the glory hole, man, and it was great. So, I did run into my friends Ben and Marie, who I have not seen since, I want to say, just after this surgery was done. So it's been some years since, like, we'd actually seen them. In large part because Marie, she's pretty open about having a spinal bifida. So, and she's also a bit older than even myself. So she didn't, you know, so she's not the most mobile. In fact, you know, she says that she's putting a whole lot of strain on herself just to come out on Friday, but she wanted to see everybody, which was great. And I did get Polaroids, and I've put them up on the Convergence, the Convergence, Facebook group for, both Detroit and the main Convergence group. I think I'm also, because like, a lot of people were talking, oh, I'm still on LiveJournal, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, I've got mixed feelings about all of the news that's coming out about LiveJournal, especially, like, because, you know, the parent company is now Russian. It has been for about 10 years now. So the parent company is Russian, and the Russian government is not the most LGBT friendly, so I've been actively shying. In fact, I've got some friends who just, like, straight up, like, backed up their LiveJournals on Dreamwidth, like, last year or so, and just straight up deleted their LiveJournal. I still, you know, sometimes I'll just, like, look on it and, you know, just, like, read other people's stuff, but I've been thinking about getting a bit more into journaling, so I'm thinking, you know, maybe Dead Journal. I still have a Dead Journal. I was one of the original Dead Journal-ins, and so I get a shit ton of invite codes, so once in a while I, you know, offer one up on Reddit when people are asking, so I was thinking of doing that, and I did update my Dead Journal name with some of my well-begotten monies from the... God damn it. People on Tumblr, man. Yeah, I'm getting sick of Tumblr again. But yeah, there's the review. Oh, yes, there were no, proper, like, Sunday music events, and especially without vending. Like, most people were just kind of like, I'll leave early then, you know, if there's no vending, and, you know, I'll go, like, send my, you know, get up and, like, have something at the, you know, have some breakfast or brunch or whatever. Oh, yeah, the kitchen at the hotel restaurant was really understaffed for Sunday brunch hours. But again, that's not something that the staff themselves, that's like a management position to fill. Like, you know, you gotta You gotta, like, find the people to staff the kitchen and make sure they're on schedule. Especially when there were, like, 3 conventions going on at the same hotel that same weekend. So there was us, there was Convergence, there was, what's it called? There was some kind of robotics thing with teenagers. And then there was the Sweet Adelaides, or Adelines. It was like a whole lot of like middle-aged and senior women with a cappella groups, and they were just so adorable and so gorgeous most of the time. And some of them, like some of us with Convergence, we were picking out, okay, there's a Rose, there's a Sophia, there's a there's a Blanche, there's a Blanche, there's a Blanche, there's a Blanche. You know, because Sex and the City is kind of like a prequel to the Golden Girls, if you think about it. Sort of. But yeah, there was a total Rose in the elevator with me when I was bringing down Isaac's statue. Oh, I'm going to get a shot and splice it in, let's say here, of Isaac's statue. And so, here's, oh, damn. So, here's Isaac's, ooh, I gotta fix that. Statue, get some detailed shots here. So, as you see, it is almost frog-like in form. And there we go. The incense burner is not a part of the statue. That I just like to put that there when she's displayed at home. Because then, like, smoke, woo, out of the vagina hole. You know, just to, you know, as a visual aid. So I'm carrying this in the elevator. Now, Saturday, oh my gosh, Saturday, like, I had to do so much sleeping when I got home, like, Sunday and then Monday. And I get on, you know, like, yesterday, which was Tuesday. I had to do so much sleeping to catch up on, like, and I swear it was mostly all Saturday, too. Like, in addition to the fact that I had to get up so early on Friday, but Saturday was the worst, because I was up and down that elevator, and because vending was in the rotunda, which, you know, was the revolving former restaurant room on top of the building, you know, there was only one elevator that went up there, and more often than not, you had to go all the way down, and then, you know, to the first floor, and then go all the way back up, just to get to the rotunda. So, and I did this at least 3 times. The first time, I'm bringing about 10 boxes of those plastic shoebox kind of things, the Sterilite, you know, plastic, you know, storage boxes, for, you know, for just my buttons. And I'm bringing those by myself because I don't want to wake up Isaac, I don't want to wake up Octavian, and so, because I'm doing this by myself, and I have back problems, so I didn't even move them out of their the reusable shopping bags that I carry that I packed them in, you know, so I'm just, like, you know, doing, like, 2 trips of, like, 10 paces at a time, but it's all of them, so that's getting me, you know, all the way to the elevator, and then all the way down, and then all the way back up to the 16th floor, and we're on the 10th. So, so we're on the 10th floor, and I have to go all the way down to the lobby, to the first floor lobby, and then all the way back up to 16. So down 10, then up 15, because as with most hotels, they don't have a 13th floor. At least not one that's marked 13th, right? So, and then I remembered, as I'm bringing stuff over to my table, which was the first one available in the round in the direction I was walking in, I noticed, oh shit, that's right, gallery. So, I go back down to the 10th floor, get all the art. So, my 2 paintings and mixed media piece that I was submitting to the art show. And then Isaac's surrealist nude statue. And since you've seen where I've spliced it in, you know, you're going to see how this is going to be, you know, very, very funny. So, so, you know, there's that webbed foot on the side of it, and because of the way I'm holding it, and I've got the paintings, and mixed media piece, I've kind of got them all, like, kind of, like, together in a different bag, and so I'm holding the statue. Now, mind, like, some of the Sweet Adelaides, when they first saw this statue, when Isaac brought it in, and we're waiting for Octavian to come down with the room key, one thought, "Oh, I thought you were having a baby. I thought you were holding a baby, but that's not a baby." He's like, "It's my baby. I made it." So one of them, oh, she was a total rose. She was a total rose. She's like, "Oh, is that a frog you have? Did you make your frog?" And, you know, because it is 9 a.m. Like, I had to get up at 8 a.m. to start setting up at 9 a.m. So it's like 9:30 maybe. You know, by the time I'm, you know, getting this thing back up to the back up to the rotunda, and I can't even remember if this was a down trip or an up trip, and I'm just like, it's a surrealist nude, and she's just like this was the furthest thing from her mind, which obviously it was, if her first thought was, this is some kind of frog, that, you know, sculpture that I'm holding, but, you know, it's still. And Isaac was very proud of himself when I told him that story, and everybody was very proud of themselves. And then my third trip, so, like, I just told you the first two trips was, you know, like, inching, like, 10 boxes of buttons with me along. And then the second trip was the art. So why was the third trip? The third trip was because I'm setting shit up on my table, you know, and I'm arranging the jewelry. And then it occurs to me, well, first it occurs to me that I don't have space for all of my buttons to be displayed out. And furthermore, I don't want the committee to be charged, you know, an extra, like, $30 or whatever they were going to for me to get a second table to move it L-shape. I'm just like, nope. I'll just, you know, let people crate dig for buttons in these last two boxes, which is all I need to set out anyway. Usually I have a big canvas, but, like, you know, I've added so many to the canvas, and I had to, like, cram so much button pressing in the last two, like, Wednesday and Thursday. I was just like, fuck it, I'll just do something else with setting out the buttons. So, so I forgot. I remembered, as I was setting shit out, holy shit, the little square reader that I put on my phone so I can take people's cards, because I've got a lot of high-priced items that people are not going to want to pay cash for. Though one person did pay cash for some of it, and which was nice. Oh, wait, no, a couple people paid cash for some of the higher ticket things, but which was nice. But still, like, I needed the square reader for this because, you know, a lot of people have it now, so you don't have to bring cash to these conventions anymore. And so I was all like, oh god, I gotta get the square. And then when I came back up with the square, I remembered, oh my god, I forgot all of the download codes for my music for Unshana Delu, for when people buy $10 or more. And then I'm like, you know what, I'm not going back to that room. I'm not going to tell Isaac where it is, because you know, he was having a hard enough time finding something or other when I was asking him to like pack, you know, like get something or something earlier in the week. I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to put Isaac through looking for it for me. I'm just going to deal, you know, if people want to if people do want to, you know, claim that download code from me, I can either give it to them at Smalls Saturday night, or I can give it to them, you know, like text it to them or something over the following week, and after that I'm going to forget who the hell bought shit, so, right? So, and then Smalls Saturday, so after I get everything, unfortunately we did not win anything at the art show, but, you know, I wasn't exactly expecting to, though I was surprised that one of the pieces that did win was a little bit boring. The one that won Best in Show, that deserved it. That guy is, you know, is very talented. And he did put a like on the picture when my friend Heather, who was on the committee and sort of, like in charge of the art show to a certain extent, when she posted pictures, he did like Isaac's statue, and he's not one of those people who was just like liking everything to be polite. It was genuinely because he appreciated it. So, I told Isaac that, I'm like, look, the winner of Best in Show liked your thing. And he's like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. And I'm like, that's almost as cool as an honorable mention prize. I was like, yeah, but, what you gonna do, right? So yeah, like, neither one of us won anything, but, we should be getting emails of participation certificates for, portfolios and whatever, if we want to use that for future stuff. And then what happened? Oh yeah, Saturday. So, Saturday, the concerts. So, here's another, addition to story time bullshit. So, the concerts on Saturday were excellent, as we were expecting. We saw, this was like, we realized this was like Convergence Clam Bake, because Friday, we had Curse of Cassandra, we had Hazel Casualty. It was, it's like, this guy, I think he's in Grand Rapids. Is he in Grand Rapids? He's somewhere Michigan local. Acid Casualty, he's an industrial project. And there's Curse of Cassandra, who's, this, Nicole, she does this dark wave kind of project. It's mostly her. She says it's mostly her, and then, whoever she can get to play with her live. And then, was, the Sunshine Blind and Ego Likeness was headlining Friday. And then Saturday, for some reason, Saturday was only 3 bands. Was Autumn, who's fronted by Juliet. She's very, very lovely. And Isaac was very happy when, she said that, oh, he's probably one of the sweetest people she's met for the first time ever, this whole weekend. Because Isaac was having a little anxiety moment, and he needed to be assured that, no, everybody here likes him, because, as somebody in the elevator put it to one of the old lady a cappella singers, it's kind of a somewhere between a convention and a freak family reunion, which Convergence kind of is, in a weird way. Even the family members who aren't talking to each other, it's a lot more functional than when, blood relatives aren't talking to each other, So yeah, Saturday was Autumn, Bellwether Syndicate, and, Bella Morte. But, yeah, we had Autumn, Sunshine Blind, Ego Likeness, and, Curse of Cassandra. So we had, 4 of the 7 bands were fronted by women, and a couple of the bands, had, goths of color in the lineup, which, was totally great. I mean, how often are you going to see that? I mean, okay, outside, Wave Gothic, Treffin, and Whitby, right? So yes, Saturday, the Bella Morte show. Now, here's some background about, so about 14 years ago. That's right, because it was the year after C9, so, but I want to say either just before or just after C10, which was the year that there was the hotel strike when, so, yeah, about 14 years ago, I saw Bella Morte for about the 3rd time I'd seen them, and a friend of mine who was working merch, he basically dared me to throw panties for Bella Morte in exchange for him buying me a CD. So I'm like, you either know I'm exactly that obnoxious, or you severely underestimate my desire for free shit. So I threw panties for Bella Morte, and for the next 2.5 to 3 years afterward, people would just randomly find me on Vampire Freaks, LiveJournal, MySpace, the earliest days of Facebook, and ask me if I was the asshole who I mean, they wouldn't say it was an asshole thing. They often thought it was legendary, and I'm like, no, this was just something stupid I did on a dare. But it's okay, because, like, for the next 3 years, like, I was, you know, like, my legend of the Bella Morte panties when they opened for Nina Hagen. And so, like, I figured, you know, I gotta keep the tradition alive. This will be, if not just as legendary in action, it will be, you know, just as legendary in effort, because I found out Friday night that the liquor store across the street from Smalls sells panties. Now, I don't know why a liquor store would need to sell panties, but they do. They have an end cap full of, you know, underwear, maybe a couple tank tops, or I guess camisoles. So, like, right at my eye level was the $5 panties. But, like, way up at the top, like, a little bit taller than I can reach with my cane, but Isaac could reach it with my cane. In fact, he says, no, let me get it. I can reach higher than you. Was the $2 panties, like, bright orange, $1.99 price sticker on them. Those the $2 panties. And why? Because I believe in only the finest magenta animal print, because was this leopard, was this cheetah, was this tiger? Some of it looked like stripes, some of it looked like spots. We had no idea. This was just like straight up generic animal print magenta. It was vaguely sparkly with the thick ass lace, labeled 2X in size. $2 liquor store panties. This was good enough for Bella Morte. And you know, if you've, you know, like, talked to these guys either before or just after their shows, you know that Andy, at the very least, is an insufferable goofball most of the time. Like, these guys are just like, you know, aging punks who put together a goth band, and now Andy's doing his, The Rain Within synth pop side project. But that's okay, because, you know, even when he's on stage, he can be a fucking goofball, and as was proven this weekend at Convergence. Because the panties came, he's like, oh, you love us, you really love us. Because, you know, the legend of the panties must live on. My art and my music will fade into obscurity, but I will forever be known across the centuries to future generations of goths as that guy who cares enough to throw panties for Bella Morte. I think I've seen the amino acids in concert more, so this would make the 4th time I've seen Bella Morte, and I'm pretty sure I've seen amino acids 5 times. Main reason I've seen the amino acids more is, 1, they are local, so, you know, and they don't tour very much, at least, you know, not in tours I've paid close attention to. I think they're semi-retired now, but, you know, they'll occasionally, like, you know, put, so I think, amino acids are semi-retired, but we'll still occasionally put together a show. And then what happens? Plus, the amino acids put on such a weird show, I can usually talk friends into giving me a ride just so they can see what the hell this is all about, and see if it's just as weird as I said it was, and it usually ends up that they think it's a bit weirder, and they're like, what the hell did I just see? I don't even know if I like it, but yeah. So, you know, I may have seen the amino acids more than I've seen Bella Morte, but Bella Morte is the band I care enough to throw the panties for. So, so my phone's telling me that I've made a lot of video, and I should probably cut it down now, so it's a little over half an hour now. And, alright, well, I will hopefully make a book video today before I have to go do some chores. I have some mail to pick up, and this, that, and some other things, and I should probably do some laundry, and alright, I'll talk to you later, bye-bye, and love you, bats and kisses, and I did that in the wrong order, but it's okay, you're my friends, of sorts.